You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. I'm raw with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arm to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devin. That's Mello. And tonight, we're going to have another special guest for you. Duke Pettijohn's going to be joining us. He's running a little bit behind, but he'll pop up here eventually, man. But, I just couldn't help it, Mello. But first off, how you doing, dude?
Man, I'm doing great. Sitting here watching the interviews for both teams, enjoying it, getting ready for 5 days from now, man.
Yeah, I feel you, chat. We appreciate you showing up, man. Steven, Ryan Dades Beard, C-Dub, Aunt Chris, Steven, Mello's in the chat, Tanker 58, Tyler. I'm sure more of you will join, but we couldn't help ourselves, man, but to get on here and talk some more Ohio State football. Did not plan on really doing this, but just heard a bunch of talking going around in different things. So just wanted to dive into the game a little more, talk about it some more, talk about our thoughts. We heard some press conferences. We got to see a little clips of the team in practice today. You heard, I didn't listen to any of Oregon's press conferences, but I will be after the show for sure. But
yeah, they're talking real spicy, man. They're giving a lot of bulletin board material to everybody in Ohio State. Seriously, these guys are cocky and arrogant.
I love it, dude. That's what I was hoping for. I was honestly hoping that one of their players would come out and say something that this team could just play on a repeat in the locker room, because we saw how that went for the ex-Ohio State player, now Tennessee player, about how the shoe's not as loud. We saw how that went. So
Right.
please, Oregon players and Oregon fans, please keep it up. We love it. We like it. I think you guys should get more personal, more mean, and more dirty. I don't think you're not, it's not enough. You guys aren't saying enough. You just got to get meaner about it. So I got to give a shout out to, we got a top of the screen here, Vader, man. Vader, loyal listener to the show. Vader, we appreciate the heck out of you, man. I know I still haven't responded to your email yet. I will, I promise. It's just been wild, man, with Christmas and everything else going on. But Vader and his friend Crazy Ken 2020, shout out you. They've been doing a lot of work for the Buckeye Boys, trying to get our subscription numbers up, our viewer numbers up, the whole 9 yards. And as of right now, we have 1,552 subscribers. In a matter of, I want to say 5 days, we gained 322 subscribers, which is
That's
unheard of. So whatever y'all are doing in the chat, we appreciate the heck out of you, man. Ohio Pod, the Pod Father Eric is in the chat. He was over there in the scoop chat, going ham on a Scum fan, man. Mr.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, Blue Monkey, man. We got a Blue Monkey.
Oh, I got him blocked already. I blocked him a long time.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure. I promise. I was talking serious trash. So Blue Monkey will be popping up in this chat here shortly. So we'll see what he's got to say. But this is what I wanted to start with. Now, I know Ohio State had some struggles against Nebraska and whatnot, but I wanted to bring up two games that Oregon struggled mightily in. The first one, Wisconsin, right? They barely beat them. I think they had to score 10 points in the fourth quarter just to squeak out a win against Wisconsin. And Penn State game. Penn State had 523 yards of total offense. They rushed for 297. And they had 65 yards in penalties and was -2 on the turnover margin, and still almost beat Oregon. Now, almost doesn't really count in football. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't.
Yeah.
They lost. But still, Boise State at the beginning of the year. I know there was another team as well. So I say that to say this because I've been watching a lot of Oregon football, and they are undefeated. They are the #1 seed. And there has been times in the season when I thought that, yeah, they're 100% the best team in the nation. I think I've actually said that. I'm just not there anymore after watching and digging into them deeper. I think that they are not anywhere close to us defensively at
No.
all. I don't think we're going to have trouble scoring. So I got to look up a couple stats here, Mello. I want you to dive into the stuff I just said.
So, in terms of defense, for all of you that have not watched the Oregon presser, I highly recommend it. Their DC was specifically asked 2 separate questions about Optimus Prime and Mecha, and he just kind of blew it off, didn't even answer the question, talked about how they go against Tez and how they go against elite wide receivers and how each one of these wide receivers could do whatever and how they're going to control the game pretty much. Didn't mention them individually and said that we have first rounders too over here. And then Botcher, the middle linebacker that also plays center field on their baseball team, he was really reckless, talking about how they're going to be disruptive. They're going to disrupt Will Howard, how they're going to be the tougher team, how they're going to win the game, and how they're going to change the Rose Bowl from what happened in 2010 and how they're going to have different results this game and how they're going to be the better prepared and more physical team. Now, I think that's really crazy. I don't think anyone out there, any reasonable person that breaks down the film will say that. I watched them get pushed around by Penn State, and we saw how we did against Penn State. So I'm expecting, honestly, I don't think it's going to be a super close game. You got to remember, one of their wide receivers, Trayshawn Holden, spit in Iggy's face. And I'm telling you, Iggy's from Jersey. They're going to light him up every chance they can. They're going to hit him. They're going to hit him. And they're going to hit him again. I don't think they're going to beat us deep. We're going to pretty much probably play coverage like we did against Tennessee. You're not beating us deep. You have to march down the field, play after play, drive after drive. And I just don't believe that they could do it against his defense. I think Dylan Gabriel will be sacked multiple times, and I expect a turnover from him as well. So I'm looking forward to this game. I think their defense is super sus, is very suspect. I think we're gonna have our way on offense with them, honestly. And that's not to say that they're not a good team, because I think they are. I actually think they're the second best team in the country. But that just tells you how good our team is. I feel like the coaches are locked in, the players are locked in, and when you have that combination with this talent, is game over, is bad news.
Yeah, so, if you go back to the first time we played them, I just want to remind people, our first possession in their home stadium with the travel time that we had and all that, we marched right down the field and scored. Marched right down the field and scored. Okay, so we didn't have a lot of trouble during offense. In the 2-minute drill, Will Howard got sacked. Guess what? We still marched the field right down the ball when they knew we were in a passing situation. I mean, the game's almost over. They know we're passing it. It didn't matter. We still pass it down the field. The refs saved their skin, or we would have won that game. And their crowd noise put us in some bad positions offensively as well. There was a couple of questionable calls. But I just personally, I think with the way Will Howard is playing right now and as locked in as this team is, I just feel like we finally found our identity. And that's scary for every other team in the nation, because all of this year, Mello, when we've been watching the Buckeyes, there has not been a game that I have felt like, okay, that's who we are. You know what I mean? Like, we just haven't found our identity. And if we can see it as fans, I'm telling you right now, the Buckeyes on offense as a team, they felt the same thing. I'm sure that they were like, dang, man, it just ain't clicking. Well, it clicked. And you know what happens once a team finds their identity? They only get better at that identity. So that's huge. This confidence that has been built up, and I think one of the most underrated things that I don't hear a lot of people talking about, and it just blows my mind, is the amount of things the Buckeyes have overcome this year, right? Oregon is talking about they're going to have their defensive end back. Well, congratulations. We've lost 2 All-American linemen, okay? And we just whooped Tennessee. We're not worried about your defensive end coming back at all. We're not worried about Holden coming back if he stays in the game, doesn't spit on anybody. So,
right. And I mean, let's be real. We played Abdul Carter. I think he's better than Jordan Birch. We played against Pierce. I think he had a better season than Jordan Birch. I watched Birch in Penn State. He looked pedestrian most of the game. You almost forgot that he even came back. So, yeah, I think we're going to handle him just fine.
Yeah. So, for some reason, this NCAA thing I always get my stats from, it's not working right now to tell us where we rank our passing defense versus their passing defense. But I'll tell you that we're the number 2 passing defense in the nation, and they're not in the top 50. I don't see them in the top 50 unless something is screwed up in that. What up, Buckeye? Guy 1, nice to see you in the chat, man. I saw him over on Scoop, so glad he's in the house, man. But yeah, so when you look at the way we executed in that Tennessee game, I mean, here's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, with the scheme the way that we had, there's not a corner in the nation that can stand up against Optimus Prime. We know that, right? Nope. Now I got a question for you. Do you think there's a corner that let's just go just on their team? Do you think that they have a corner that can go up against Emeka Egbuka?
No.
Do you think they have a corner that can go up against Carnell Tate?
No, but they do, because they said their third corner locked up Tyler Warren like they're the same speed and the same quickness. Like, come on, man. Tyler Warren was going kind of nuclear on them for the most part. He didn't do anything against us. He had like 2 plays.
Yeah, like, period. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, when we watched the Scum game, we saw us not utilize the weapons that we have on this team, and clearly that changed. You know what I mean? So I don't have any fear that we're going to go back to that. When you have the success that we had during Tennessee, there's no way the coaching staff is going to go away from that. So I think that's what we see, and I just don't think it can be stopped. I just don't think there is. So what does it come down to then? So if we can't be stopped in the passing game, there's obviously 2 things that we have to do as a team. Number 1, we got to protect our quarterback, right? Well, yep. On the offensive line, we're rotating Austin Searville, Luke Montgomery, dude, these names, bro. And our right guard, Tegra Shabola. Austin Searville is our swing guard. So they look good against a very, very, very good defensive line. I mean, before we played Tennessee, people were talking about they're the best defensive line in the country. And now all of a sudden people are questioning whether they are. You can't do that. Doesn't change. You don't do that. We just played that good. Our scheme and our offensive line worked good enough. So if we can protect Will Howard against James Pierce and the Tennessee defensive line, we can do it against Oregon. So I think that problem's taken care of. I have confidence that Chip Kelly is going to scheme up enough stuff, right, to where it helps. And it utilizes the players on our offensive line. It utilizes their strengths specifically. All right, number 2, Will Howard has to have a good game, right? But here's where my confidence lies in that. Number 1, 5th year of playing college football. You know what I'm saying? Been in college football for a long time. Played in just about every scenario you can think of. Has had to come in late in games when the starter was injured and had to try to rally his team. I mean, every scenario you can think of, Will Howard has been in it. So the weight of this game, the nerves of this game, they're not going to impact Will Howard. And number 2, his ability to just push past stuff, right? We saw him have the worst game, arguably, in his career against Scum, and he comes right out and does what? Has the best game, arguably, in his career. In his career, not just at Ohio State, in his career. So,
yep.
Excuse me. when you have a quarterback that has those kind of attributes, you have faith that, yeah, he might throw a couple bad passes, but ultimately the core of what Will Howard is made out of is a good football player, bro. He's going to come out firing on all cylinders. So speak on those two things, man. If we're going to use that scheme, our offensive line has to hold up and Will Howard has to play good. Do you think we're going to see that?
Absolutely. I definitely think that. And there's a reason you couldn't find them on that the stats, because it goes up to the top 36 teams and they're not listed, and we're listed as third in terms of passing defense efficiency.
They just did that though. In the season, you could see where it went to 134. You could see where every team was ranked. They just did that. But give me a second. Gotcha. We're gonna bring Duke in. Let him join the show. Duke, what up, man?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's up, brother?
Dude, I like
it, man. How y'all?
Good.
We're
bro.
good.
I like that hat, dude. I like that hat.
Hey, it is. I'm even rocking the.
Oh shoot, dude! Look at that.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that one.
Hey, yes, sir. Look at that.
It's a little
that's
snug,
right.
but, you know, I made it work.
Hey, chat. I just gotta give a little hint to the chat. Not really a hint. I'm just gonna tell you what's up. But there's something in the works, man. Something for a YouTube show that's never been done. Nobody is doing it anywhere. If you want a parent's side and perspective on recruiting, college football, that kind of stuff, man, we're going to try to get together Duke and Daniel. Duke right here, Daniel Sanchez, Devin Sanchez's dad. Try to get them a show here on Buckeye Boys. We're not going to try. We're doing it. It's official. So look out for that, man. That's exciting. It's a big deal. I think it's going to absolutely blow up because
I know it is.
Fans are always wanting to know what's going on, man. What's in these players' heads? Why are people making this decision? And not only that, Duke, last time you were on here, you spoke about a lot of these parents. They've never been through it. They have no idea. So it's going to be a place for people to come and gather some information. But tonight we are focused on the Buckeyes and the webbed feet. The Ducks. So, we're talking about initially, Duke, what we're talking about is how Oregon has struggled mainly on the defensive side of the ball. Penn State over 500 yards of offense. They struggled against Wisconsin. They struggled against Boise State at the beginning of the year. You know, and me and Mello are talking right now about our offensive line and our quarterback, because if we're going to operate the scheme that Chip Kelly ran against Tennessee, two things are going to have to happen. Number one, our offensive line is going to have to protect Will Howard. We think he can. Mello's in the middle of, he's going to give us his opinion on that. And number two, Will Howard has to play good. And we think with his veteran ability and the fact that he can just cast bad things out of his mind and move forward is what's going to. So, Mello, finish your thoughts on offensive line of Will Howard.
So, that defensive line that Tennessee had, we made them look pedestrian, but they're far from it. Like, that was a phenomenal defensive line. So that answered all the questions. That was the only question mark I really had, even going into the Tennessee game with all the injuries we had on the O-line. How were they going to hold up? And they proved to me that they got what it takes. The scheme was perfectly designed. It matched what they needed to do. They didn't have to hold up protection for too long because they were rolling the pocket. They were moving the pocket. They were a quick game with the screen passes, like you guys said previously, which is an extension of the run. And then it opened up the run because we were hitting them over the top as well. So it made the boxes a little bit lighter. What I like the most is how Chip will run the same motion pre-snap, and then it'll be like a pass. And then off the same motion, they turn it into a counter run or something. So, like, it always puts the linebackers in the defense in conflict, and it holds them up for a second. With the athletes we have, a second could be the death of you. So, I'm positive about that. I'm positive about Will's leadership, his confidence, his poise, him being a fifth-year senior, how big he is. He's strong, and he looked super fast the last game. That's the fastest Will looked all year.
Yeah. It's interesting. I even know when I rewatched the game, it came on like a replay on the Big Ten channel, and it was fast. But I'm like, what? Hold on, because when I originally watched it, I was at a Texas OU watch party. So the sound wasn't on. I wasn't, watching.
Which game are you talking about?
The first matchup.
Oh, okay, against
The
Oregon.
first matchup. And so I watched it. I'm like, oh, hold on. You would have thought we got blown out. It was a silly, a late, brain fart like later in the game. But they were balling. The D line were humming, and the rotation that y'all spoke of, they had multiple rotations like during that game, and outside of a few like miscues late, we should have won that game. Like I wouldn't have felt bad coming out of it. I'm like, okay, yeah, we tweak a few things, we're good. The only thing that I did notice was the energy was off from the defense or the front versus the secondary. They look a little, they weren't as they didn't seem as fired up as the other guys playing and having fun. I mean, they come back and bring that energy as a group, which they did last game. Oh, it's gonna be a hell of a game.
Yeah, Duke, I'll tell you from being at that game, the reason why the energy was off from the secondary to the line is the communication was off because of the noise in that stadium. I'm telling you, I could not hear people sitting right beside me. They would talk to me, and I would have to lean all the way in to hear what they were saying. And I watched our defense all game. There were several times where you saw a player try to communicate something, and the other guy would hold his hands up like, I can't, I don't know what you're doing. So when the ball was snapped, they never got that communication across to the next person.
Okay.
Right?
And that makes sense because there was a couple of deep balls that were on Burt that I'm like, hey, where's the safety?
Yeah,
like he definitely. I know that there should have been safety help over the top, and if there were, those were actually probably the knockdowns or picks instead of those long receptions. So I'm actually encouraged, man. Like, sure.
I know, man. That's we've been saying, dude. Like I said, I was there, man. It was a 1-point loss at an away game against one of the hardest stadiums to play in. I was there. It was loud. The atmosphere was wild, dude. Yeah. And we essentially had 2 turnovers. Quinshon Judkins had the only fumble with the running backs this year because he had a hurt hand, and their kickoff little thing they did that hit Caleb Downs. He didn't catch it. They recovered it, and the calls by the officials at the end of the game with the PI on the offensive pass interference and the Will Howard not getting down in time. Yeah. And it was 1 point. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, this is
stakes are higher, experience is up. And I feel good about this one.
Yeah. So get into this, Duke, a little bit. What are your thoughts on our offensive line against their defensive line and Will Howard this game? What are you hoping to see out of him? And what do you think we're going to be able to do offensively?
Similar to as far as Will Howard, similar to like what you said, him, that experience, I would like for that to show up to where, you are leading these guys. Like I've been in this situation, you're able to, calm them down, keep them focused, keep the offense on schedule, and be that game manager, and know that, hey, we can't have critical mistakes, and like just be that guy and play football. If he brings that that high level of leadership that I've seen, when he was at K-State, and they get him involved in the run game. That's gonna be a game changer too. Like spread them out and hit them with some QB draws. That's gonna loosen up the front and help that O line out. I think the way the O line played last game against Tennessee, they come in ride that momentum into this game. It's gonna be a dominant game up front. I believe. But we don't know for sure until that whistle's blown and we get going. But I am confident that they'll continue that.
Yeah, as far as me, like I'm very confident for us offensively, meaning I think we're going to score enough points to win the game. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
don't think we're going to have trouble scoring. The question is, and I've heard other people talk about it, here's the question to me.
Mhm.
Will we have more stops on defense than they do? That's the question that I have.
Name
So,
of the game. I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
that
I,
is a you look on the board, going into the game, you're like, hey, we need this many stops, we win the game. That's just key. And I feel I'm more confident in our defense getting a critical stop than theirs.
yeah,
I think there's more pressure on their side to come in and be the number one team. We had all the rest, and so yeah, they had a bye, but there was a lot of pressure during that bye. They saw how we played. They know hey, this isn't the same team they played earlier in the season. So yeah, they're going to be as relaxed. So they're either going to be uptight, or they're going to be too loose and overconfident. I don't think there's going to be in
I
between.
like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Duke, did you watch the? Did you like zone into our defensive line against Tennessee with the pressure we created and whatnot? Because I wanted to ask you about that. I
Mhm.
wanted to ask you your thoughts on the pressure that was created by Jack and JT and the rest of the defensive line, and just tell us a little bit about your thoughts about that, our performance on the defensive line, and if you think we can bring that into this Oregon game.
I think they can because I saw it, rewatching that game and then the Tennessee game. I know, last time we spoke, I was like, I thought they weren't as I didn't think they brought the heat off the edge because I hadn't seen it, in a few games, collectively between the two of them. But I did against the Tennessee game, and it was a huge difference on the game because, you know, I can't. The Nico kid, he had to make quicker decisions or run the ball, and we get him to run the ball. We have the athletes at linebacker to run them down,
Yeah.
and I think the same with if we bring that same energy and that same pressure like this game, and we maintain pass rush lanes. This little dude, he's not going to be he can't he won't see the windows. So that's going to be key is maintaining pass rush lanes and not allowing him because he can't see the receiver to escape. We keep him in the pocket and make him have to throw from the pocket. Game over. Game over.
Yeah. Mello, what's your thoughts?
Man, that's exactly what I was thinking. The same thing. They actually talked about that today when they were talking to Ty Hamilton and JT at the presser about maintaining their lanes and collapsing the pockets from the middle as well as the outside. One thing I did see also that I forgot to mention, Botcher said in their team meeting today, Dan Lanning was bringing up how how everybody's been talking about it's hard to beat a great team twice in one season. They were saying like it's not that hard. Maybe if it was baseball, it is kind of harder, but not in football. And that psychologically they think they have an advantage because they won the first game and Ohio State lost, and that's Dan Lanning's whole motivational speech. I guess they think they're the team up north. You know what I'm saying? That's what I got. But yeah, I think Dylan Gabriel's going to have a whole different game this game compared to the last game. He's obviously going to make some plays. He's
for sure.
But I don't think it's going to be how he was, just like he could be in the backfield just Harlem shaking and not worried about anybody coming and touching him. He's going to get touched up.
Oh, for sure. And he hasn't really. I don't think he's really faced adversity like that to where he had to shake off multiple hits and and make a play. Just consistent, like even like just touching, just little stuff, not just getting there and getting a hand on them, knowing I'm coming back, and those add up. And if we can apply that type of pressure, it doesn't necessarily have to all be sacks, but if hits and touches in the pocket, not allowing them to break contain, and that's huge because those were the breakdowns of the last game. He was able to get outside the pocket because we lost that integrity on the outside. And, that's like he has nobody in front of him now. So I can make all the plays. But, I feel like we do that. It's going to be a long day.
Duke, are you and the family going to try to make it to the Rose Bowl?
Oh yeah, we're there. Yeah, Raleigh's gonna be there.
Are you going to be there?
And we're gonna be right behind them.
Shoot,
We got to link up. Me, him, and Brad gonna be out there.
We're coming out. We'll be out there on Monday. Well, yeah, he leaves Monday morning, and we leave a little after.
Nice.
Yeah, so he'll be with the team and everything.
Yeah. We'll shoot you a text and have Riley open the back door. We'll sneak on in with the team, man. No, just joking. Duke, I gotta. I couldn't think of a better person to ask this question to. Two things that get brought up a lot. Number one, Mello already brought it up. Dan Lanning doesn't seem to think that it's harder to beat a team a second time, one that you already beat. You have, I don't know if you've ever been in that position, but you've played a lot of football. Is there anything to that? The fact that they've already beat us once, is it going to be a little harder for them to beat us twice? Is there anything to that?
Yeah, it's going to be harder because it's the playoffs now. Right, so the intensity is automatically up. It's not the same thing. It's the same team squared, right? We made the requisite adjustments, and added to the game plan wrinkles that they haven't seen, and vice versa. But what it sounds like he's doing is that external self-talk. He's trying to convince himself that it's not that hard, and it doesn't matter what game it is. The second time is always going to be tough.
Yeah, because it's almost like that. The power of the emotion of revenge or redemption is way stronger than the emotion of victory. If that makes sense, Oregon's got this emotion of, hey, we beat them, and now I get that can pump you up, but gosh darn, if I try to think of that in my head, like if I go up against, like I used to do boxing, kickboxing, if I go up against somebody that beat me the first time, that I'm going to train a little bit harder, I promise. Now, if I would have whooped his butt the first time, nah, man, I might not train that hard. You know what I'm saying? The second question.
I want to add. I'm going to add on to that, and the other part of that is, they didn't beat us. We beat ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so, I mean, if it was a convincing like L, like, okay, you can come in and, kind of have that mindset. Right. But it wasn't a dominant win. It was, you got by the skin of your teeth. Right. I mean, we'll get down, we kick a field goal, it's a wrap. It's a different game. And so
to me, what is different between winning a game like that and losing a game like that is because when you lose, it's easier to make adjustments and to preach to the team like you got to do this, this, and this because obviously it didn't work. Now, when you win, you like, how much do we change because it was working? How much was it because it was working or they were having an off game? So now you have to second guess, and it might be too late by the time you figure out, oh, we thought this was going to work. Oh, it's not working anymore, to adjust in the game. And you might already be down 14 or 21-0 like Tennessee. Right. So like that's why I think the biggest disadvantage for winning that game, especially by 1 point, because our guys know they didn't play that well, and they're going to be like, yeah, we could definitely smoke them. And their guys, like I said, Botcher is over here talking about what they're going to do to us and how they're going to beat us and all this. Like they have that confidence, and I would say it's not a quiet confidence, it's a loud confidence, and I think it's misplaced and misguided.
Yeah. No, I mean that's just sport. You got to have that, right?
Yeah, but I'm gonna keep that in if I know what I'm facing. But for him to say the rest of the guys that talk players, they didn't talk like that. It was a big drastic difference between the DC and him versus Jeffrey Bassa and Jabbar Muhammad and they had another guy that talked. I forget his name. Mateo Ugalele. Yeah. It was completely different from those guys to what those two were saying. So like that's why I'm saying they might have some misguided confidence, to be honest with you.
Yeah. That they, the coach writing a check that they can't cash.
Right.
So, they had to tone it down a bit. But like
the boys hearing this.
False enthusiasm gets you hurt.
Yeah, the boys are hearing this. They hearing this, and then you had your wide receiver spit on one of our guys. That's the most disrespectful thing you could do. Someone spit on you in the streets, you automatically fighting. Cheers. Is that an old fashioned?
Yeah, courtesy of
Yeah.
It's Pettijohn, the old fashioned.
Hey.
I might have to. You should have told me, Duke. I got mine out in the kitchen. But anyway, on the along those same lines, Duke and Mello, I brought this up before, and Mello, I brought it up before Duke came on, but a lot of things that people aren't talking about that I think is going to be a huge factor, and it's not really a factor that can be measured, which is probably why people aren't talking about it much. But if you look at the Ohio State Buckeyes, let's look what they've been through this year, right? They lost Josh Simmons. They lost their All-American center, okay? They lost to Oregon and home by one. And some could argue that game might have been one of the most hurtful ways to lose a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Down in field goal range. The refs say you didn't slide in time. You got the offensive pass interference call. A very crappy way to lose. So they had to overcome that. They came out against Nebraska. Dang near almost lost that game, but they overcame it. They won. And then on top of that pain, they lose to their rival, a 6-5 rival that is absolutely horrible. You cannot make up a worse scenario for the Buckeyes to have went through this season. Now, you look at the Ducks. They flying high, baby. They the number 1 seed. They won the Big Ten. They haven't lost a game. That they got all of them have their own shoe deals. You know what I'm saying? They're just they're living that high life. So when I look at the Buckeyes, I see a team that has been drugged through the mud and is climbing up that mountain versus a team that's just sitting on top of the mountain in the sunshine, getting their tans on and everything else. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, I'm a little bit homer, so I'm really stretching this here, but. No. I think that makes us just a little grittier, a little tougher. We might want this a little more. Since you played the game, is there anything to that?
That's a great point to surmise what you said is they haven't faced any adversity yet this season. And that's the biggest difference. So when you face adversity I had a perfect example. I was playing arena here. We were 15-0, and first playoff game, we riding high, and stuff just started happening that never happened. Just weird stuff, bounces off the ball, or just weird fumbles, and we lost our mind, and we lost. Went out first game in the playoffs. Because that was the first adversity that, we hit. And so we're trying to figure it out, right in the moment. And it's hard. It is very hard because the emotions are flying even higher, right? And now these are college kids. So facing it now, if they get down, we get on them early, you'll see them. They'll start doing dumb stuff,
Yeah.
And that's what you can't prepare for. You just can't. You can simulate it, but the emotion isn't the same.
Yeah, so, gotcha.
That's a great point.
Buck Vader has a question for you,
Mello. Real fast. Let me just remind the chat before I forget. Just a quick some home some chores here to do. Don't forget to like the show, man. Like the show. Share this feed on your Instagram or X or whatever right now. And a reminder, man, you guys can become a BBZ Mafia member for $1.99 a month, man. We're still working on, what that includes. But for now, it makes your name green in the chat. And if you got a question, we'll pull it up like we are now. We try to do that all the time. And also, man, if you got a question for Duke or me or Mello, we take super chats as well. All our super chats, as of right now, until things change, part goes to Mello's cause, which is homeless veterans, and then the other part goes to the ministry that saved my life, which is called Teen Challenge. Which, on a side note, the director of a Teen Challenge, my best friend Austin McRoy, will be joining the show here soon to tell everybody about Teen Challenge and give his spiel on that.
That's awesome.
He's a huge fan. He's from Tennessee, so me and him have been having a lot of conversations here lately. They've been great. They've been phenomenal. So just want to tell everybody that. But Mello, do what you're
also part of the membership, I do live in Gwinnett County, so there's a lot of elite athletes here. I have some video footage that I took during the season. We never put it out yet, but it will be exclusive to members only. Video of Anthony Davis over at Grayson High School and Tyler Atkinson's, Deuce Gerald's, and I forget the other old lineman that's going to UGA. But we got some good players out there that it will be exclusive content. Buck Vader has
D-line coach at Grayson.
Oh, you know?
Yeah, Derek Corley. He's a D-line coach there.
Oh, yeah. They just won the states. They beat Julian Lewis's team, Carrollton.
Yeah, he was just telling me.
That was a good one. So we have a question for you, Duke, from the chat. How would you pressure Gabriel in this game if you were coaching?
Oh, if I was coaching or playing?
Yeah, what would you do?
Shoot, just heat him up. I'm just condensing the pocket. Like I'm emphasizing rush lanes and being disciplined in your rush lanes and playing the run and squeezing the gap. A lot of times I saw the runs that were that did kind of like gash us in that game. Mm-hmm. We were a little too high. We started with a pass rush mentality, so we were higher upfield. So even though we squeezed, we squoze. even though we squoze that gap, we were still off levels. So if you can recognize run early and squeeze right away, it'll make them bounce, and then you keep the Alshon free and and make the tackle. But it'll be key to knowing situationally when when it's going to be run and throttle your rush down, squeeze that gap. But as far as like pass rush, I want to make him stay in the pocket and have to figure out how he can see over these tall guys.
Yeah, Duke, I wanted to ask you because like when I watched the Indiana game, and I probably got these questions. I didn't play football, and I'm trying to get smart at. But when I watched the Indiana game, I saw our linebackers getting a lot of sacks, right? So different pressure packages were created. Mm-hmm. Now, the Tennessee game, you didn't see much of that, but you saw our defensive ends winning a lot, right? Each of them had more than one sack. So is that how that goes? If during this game Jim Knowles sees that our defensive ends are not getting the pressure that he would like, is that when he instills those special packages? That's how it works.
Yeah, you manufacture that pressure by sending your linebackers, allowing that, giving your ends opportunity to have a two-way go, right? Like, all right, let me see what he's looking like, if I make this inside move, right? Get him thinking. And now, dang, I got an inside move. I just saw somebody flash against do I have to go? Do I have to bump? Oh man, no. Now I'm beat here. So that's what you're doing. And it's all a feel. Ideally you would like to get pressure just with your front four and allow your linebackers to, like play coverage, help underneath, and then help your safeties help, over top. But then, you just start throwing in both, zone pressures, man pressures, and things like that. And it depends on like who's cooking, right? Or where that advantage is. So it takes some feeling out, the first quarter, to determine like, what I'm going to hit them with. So if you don't see pressures early, it's because we're getting pressure with the front four, and then you can have pressures as a changeup, which are great because now you have somebody in a window that you didn't expect there, and now that's how turnovers and tip passes and good things like that are happen.
Yeah. Would you do a lot of stunts to start the game?
No. Like for me, like in my mindset, I would like, look, you got to earn these stunts, right? Win these one-on-ones because I believe that you can, right? And then we'll start moving. But if I'm not getting pressure, and then because that's the thing, like with stunts, now you have to worry about somebody coming around and getting to keep them in the pocket, and then also you have guys moving out of windows, giving him a quick opportunity to to see those passing windows, see through those passing windows. So I wouldn't do too many stunts, right away. I would like to establish, us being in his face and collapsing the pocket first, and then see where, but then also you can stunt situationally, one side or the other, right? But I wouldn't do too many stunts up the middle. I would challenge him. There.
So how would you play our DBs to try to keep those little, quick, fast wide receivers?
Zone. I'm zoning them up, man. I'm playing zone. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because they're smart, and then mix it up. Ease into. I wouldn't play too much man, but that's me not seeing how practice went and how how on point they were. Like playing man. I trust that they can, but sometimes with motions of the game, you just get like too hopped up and hesitant. So I would just to be safe. I'll just play some zone, cover 3, cover 2. I'll play a lot of cover 2. We'll make him really have to pass in tight windows.
Yeah. So for me, as a fan that has watched Oregon and that watched the last game as well, there's 2 things on defense that would be like at the top of my game plan. And I realize you can say this every game, but I would really hone in on these. Number 1, Oregon thrives off of big plays. Mm-hmm. They have all season. That's how they beat us, right? The long shots. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to take those away. Boom. Those are out the window. Mm-hmm. And then number 2, let's get some pressure on Gabriel, make him uncomfortable. Like I said, it doesn't have to be sacks. It can be touches after a pass. It can be, getting in his face, making him move around, just make him uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Because Oregon thrives off of that, man. That's what they do. And our game plan last time was to stop the little dink and dunks, right? Stop the little 5-yard hitches and all that stuff. And we got burnt deep. So I'd say it's the opposite this time, because for me, I think the coaches, if we trust the players on our defense, which I think we have several playmakers, several athletic freaks, Caleb Downs, Sonny, all of them, like the Ransom, the more plays an offense runs against our defense, the happier I am, right? In terms of long plays versus short plays, because the more plays that are ran gives more opportunities for our playmakers to make that once in a lifetime play, or that play that the quarterback thinks there's no way that DB's getting over there in time, but in fact they do. Mm-hmm. We have those players on this team, so make them. Yeah,
make them. Yeah, and then actually that was a good game plan. Make him. Throw underneath. And then we rally the ball. Like I said, we have the athletes to rally to the ball. As long as we're taking good angles to the ball, we're swarming to the ball. I think that's going to be that is the adversity that they haven't seen, to where you have bought into, like, hey, we're just giving you this, and we have superior athletes that can rally to the ball, and now you have to be patient, right? But we'll be more patient because we're not giving you this big play, because we know that's what you thrive on. So if we're doing that, you can have that all day, and we're tackling well. It's going to be hard for them. It's going to be hard for them.
Yeah, that's just what I'm talking about. All of Oregon's close games, they always get bailed out by a long pass play. Mm-hmm. They get back there, they're down in the fourth quarter or something, or it's a close game in the fourth quarter, and the other team lets them get a 50-yard bomb for a touchdown, and it's just like, well, dang. Those kind of plays, they take the air out of defenses. So there's not only the 7 points, but what it does to a team that has been grinding, and then in one play, 50 yards is poof, gone. Yep. That's got to weigh on you. So that's my number one thing. If they want a 5-yard, 10-yard us down the field and they score, so be it. Whatever. I don't think they can do that all the time. I think we got too many dang playmakers, man. I just do.
Yeah, we're not gonna let them 10-yarders down the field, though.
Okay, 5.
We'll give them 3 to 6.
3 to 6.
Yeah,
3 to 6. Okay.
I like that.
Gotcha. All right, so I got to ask this. This gets brought up a bunch because we all know Dan Lanning. he's a little sneaky. You know what I'm saying? He be doing all kind of just
Yeah.
wild, crazy stuff. The last time we played him, that it managed to work for him. Sometimes it does not, right? I watched several games this year where he looked like an idiot for doing it. Sometimes it looks like a hero. So a lot of people are wanting to know, how can a defense prepare for that? Is it just knowledge of, hey, watch out for the weird stuff, or expect it, or what can Jim Knowles do as a defensive coordinator to prepare a team for trick plays? How do you do that?
You practice, and you know the reputation of your opponent, and you practice situations. But to know, so if it's a situation where you'll go punt safe a lot.
Yeah.
So leave the defense on because this is where you're going to you may try fake here. So you do a run front safe, and then it's just a line alert. So that's when assistant coaches and the analysts on the sideline are, hey, look out for this XYZ. Just those constant reminders from the coaches on the field. And then they do very well with film study, so they'll be prepared. But it's just always staying on top of those situations when they pop up, like in the game, and just constantly reminding is not not sleeping on that. And it reigns true for every every game, right? Okay, sudden change, expect them to try to go over top. Right after a turnover, second and third or in short, play action pass, maybe a gadget play, or or a draw. So it's just those situations remain the same, but just know, all right, you may see them in earlier downs, because that's how he rolls. So it's just constantly staying locked in throughout the game. And not getting complacent.
Yeah, Duke, the chat's really loving all the information you're giving them. It really shows that I guess me and Mello aren't really that smart, because we're on here every night, and they're never like, "Oh, guys, thank you for the information. Really, thank you." Not just joking. I'm not joking. They're loving it though, and they got another question for you. A good question. He said, Duke, since Gabriel is left-handed and rolling left is his strength, would you try to get him to roll opposite to throw him off? Would you put that in the game plan, like understanding that he's left-handed?
Yeah, that's like, I'm not being funny. That's basic. 101. Yeah,
I figured
you're gonna blitz the throwing arm. So and they'll so that's where the gamemanship and your strategy come in. They know they're going to blitz that. If they're blitz you, expect it here. So then that's where you hit them with where it might not come, or you fake that and bring it from somewhere else. You show it. We may come there, make them check into something that that you practice against, and you showed them this to make them do that, right?
Yeah.
So it's that game and shit that's going to come on. But yeah, you always blitz the throwing hand of the
yeah, gotcha. Sure. Sean Rollins, we appreciate you. He gifted one random, and I mean random, person on YouTube a membership to Buckeye Boys. Thank you, Sean. Yeah. Mike Green with $4.99. Come on, man, get up there. Thanks, Mike. He said, I don't know, but our boys feel like we're on a mission, and the coaching staff has finally caught up with them. Mm-hmm. This just feels different with this momentum. Mello, what type of momentum?
Hey, hold on. Let me tell you something. This is for that brings up. So we were leaving Riley's girlfriend's tournament yesterday, and the dude walks in with like Michigan everything. He's like, "Oh," I was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh."
Yes.
Hey, no. He said, he's like, "Hey, look, y'all look good. I feel like y'all about to take it all." I was like, "See, I like you."
Oh wow. Okay.
Regular.
Yeah.
That team thing.
That's a
yeah, he said that out of his own mouth, all blue and stuff on.
Duke, I'm just telling you, bro. Don't get used to it, man. That you just found a 1 in a million. I'm telling you, dude.
I know. I like them. I'll probably. I think they'll once they encounter me enough, those fans,
Yeah.
they'll know that don't even bring that.
One of the tendencies I saw from Oregon, though, since I've been watching their film and watching a few different games, they're not very good at picking up short yardage in terms of running because I think their O-line is soft firing off the ball. What they tend to do, which I know the Buckeyes are going to be prepared for because we have the best coaches in the world, they tend to always go play action on like 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, 3rd and 2, and try to throw in the flat. And it actually caught us in that game, the first game, when they hit the tight end out of the backfield. And that was like the tight end's second catch the entire game because Caleb Downs and them had that boy on lockdown. But we all went to stuff the run. So how would you design the defense? Because all the safeties went in for the run. And then it left Denzel having to tackle that big dude. So how would you design short yardage to stop that play action pass?
Hold on. Before you answer, Duke, give me 1 second. We got a problem. I said random. Madam is probably you are not random. If you got gifted the membership, I said that because when you buy somebody when you gift a membership, YouTube just gives it to whoever. They don't let you pick who it is. It just does it randomly. So if you got gifted the membership, you're definitely not. You're in here all the time, my dude. We appreciate you, love you. You're part of Buckeye Nation. You're a brother, dude. So no, I did not. I had no idea you got the membership.
You're not random.
YouTube just gives it to random people. That's why I said that. So no, you are definitely not random. So sorry about that. Go ahead, Duke.
I just forgot the question. Oh yeah. So I would so knowing that there's a tendency to leak out, so I'm going head up on my end, either if it's the end or a linebacker. I'm head up on him and I'm rushing through that tight end. So if he's supposed to get out in coverage, he's not. Timing's off. And then I'm bringing pressure on backside because I know he's not getting up. You're expecting him there. So you're either going to throw it away or you're going to, pump it, keep it. And now my blitz should get there, and then we're alerting for a boot out of that because they'll probably, try that. They're going to show this run here. We're coming here, and then he'll keep it and boot out, and we'll walk in. So we're gonna alert boot backside, and then we're gonna rush through the tight end, and then play zone everywhere else.
So Duke, let's say there's a certain defensive end that has taken heat because he likes to crash down on the running back on all option plays. He goes and he takes out the running back, and then the quarterback just ends up skirting free and getting himself 10 yards or maybe even a touchdown. As a defensive end, when you're crashing in like that, is it always go after the running back? Is it always go after the quarterback? Is it situational? Do you just have to guess? What's the deal there?
No, definitely not any guessing. So it depends on, the front that you're running. It'll either be, we'll have dive, the end to have dive. And linebacker have pitch, and it just be like vice versa. But that's run that way. That's what we used to run the option. The option is all it is attacking your discipline, right?
Yeah.
If you got a guy who's likes rushing the passer, he's gonna fly off field, so you're gonna get it. Right.
Yeah.
Know he's going to crash now. He's he does his own thing. So he's going to crash now I'm going to keep it. So it's a feel from the quarterback. But if you're like disciplined and, your responsibility, it's hard to mess up. Like,
so in the particular
your job
that I think Dev is talking about, what happened was the tight end was lined inside. He came out like he was going to block, but then he actually went out like he was going for a route. So the linebacker, I think in that situation, I think it was Sonny, was supposed to have outside containment. But since the tight end went out for like a passing play, he had to go and take the tight end. But at that point, the DN didn't even know that he didn't have that outside leverage anymore. So he went and he took the running back instead of the quarterback. The quarterback ran in. But the good thing that I noticed is Tennessee tried to do something similar, and that defensive end held the point of attack and kept containment, and it went nowhere.
Yeah,
So
and that's key.
definitely learn from it.
Yeah, and that's the biggest point. That's easy. That's easy to learn. Easy to learn from, because it bit you in the behind. But yeah, the kid. So like when I played, and we always had a lot of it depended on the game. Like it a switch, and then the switch in the game, it was just like going into that game, like and you have quarterback this week. So we took it as and it was a different game. We took it as an opportunity to just tee off, like on the court. Those are hits that that added up. And now it was, but in doing it that way, we were able to like dictate stuff. Now we can come in and fake like we're going to hit him. He pitches it right away. We get our hand in the pass lane. That's when this is an option I'm talking about. We get a hand in the pass lane and get a tip like that. And then like if we had dive, same thing. I'm just going to take his head off, right? We did like kill shots. So we were just like definitely locked in. And that was more, the DC knowing kids, young guys and, in their mentality and, or their, propensity to not do the right thing. We're just going to give you the right thing to do every time. And if you're not doing that right thing that we simplified for you this week, then, I'm going to get you out of there and get somebody in there that will do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's key.
You reminded me of something that I saw in the Tennessee game. Our D-line was just playing with some serious fire. Tyleek Williams, Ty Hamilton, our defensive, Kenyatta Jackson came in. You called that out. You said that, watch out for that dude. Well, he came in, did his thing. Just real fast, and then I want to hit another point. I just need you to answer yes or no, Duke. Was that rushing the passer or not?
Yeah. All of them. They were.
No. What I meant was
Roughing.
I didn't mean roughing. I meant rough. So Kenyatta Jackson got called for rushing the passer
Roughing.
Roughing.
Yeah. Gosh darn, dude. Roughing the passer. Yeah. He's like, yeah, they're rushing the passers. Stupid. No, I meant roughing. When Iggy had the interception, was it?
No.
I didn't think so, bro.
It's like it's to the point, like, and I mean, it like every time it happens, I feel like it's happening because I feel like they're pain, and it's disgusting, and it's to the point where like those should be reviewed now. They should be reviewed like targeting, because there's times where like you take the one where you can't drive the quarterback into into the ground, but I can't fall off either side. So only thing I can do is like just put my hands off. No, you can't see that real time, but you can see when it's slowed down if he tried or last minute made a conscious effort to not do that. Like, this is it's a hot button for me.
I didn't know that.
It's gross.
I didn't know that was a college thing, driving the quarterback into the ground, because dude, KJ had his hands on him before he ever released the ball. KJ grabbed a hold of him, then he threw the ball. So he was already, when the ball was still in his hands, he had a hold of him. So at that point, it's either tuck it, right, or pass it. So if he would have tucked it there would have been no roughing the passer. So like, But
it used to be you get like even it used to be you get 2 steps, and it's and it's clean. But like you can't even do that anymore. And that, like, if I have my hand on you and you still have the ball in the hand, and I and I'm in the middle of pulling you down and you still throw it, what do you want me to do? I'm gonna finish the play, and it's within the play, so it's not. I don't see how it can be like malicious or be a penalty. It's ridiculous,
it is. Mike Green, thanks for the $1.99. He said, if we remain aggressive, we cannot be beat, period. I couldn't agree more. Mike Green again with the $4.99. Kirk Herbstreit completely lied. That penalty is only NFL. Yeah, Kirk Herbstreit was on a heater announcing this game. He was not happy the Buckeyes were winning. And he said during the game, he said, oh yeah, they're calling that in the NFL. They're going to start calling it in college. That's what he said. And it's like, that wasn't even, dude, get out of here, bro.
That was weird. I had to ask somebody, because I'm like, I thought I was like hearing like am I tripping? Does
He burned a lot of bridges.
He's trying to sound like he was neutral, but it went towards like I'm like, do you not want this to happen? It was really weird, man. I kind of
and his son is on one of his sons is on the team, but he burnt a lot of bridges in Columbus, and I'm not gonna get into it, but you'll find out soon enough. I'm sure of it. You'll hear all the stories.
Yeah. Karis, thank you so much. Gifted 5 memberships to people.
That's awesome, Karis.
If you're one of them. Yeah, thank you so much. So back to my point, I was talking about how good the defensive line was going.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that they were doing very well was getting their hands up and batting balls down. I mean, Cody Simon batted one down, Jack Sawyer, JT, they all got their hands up. And this was a tall quarterback. Nico is not short. Dylan Gabriel is not short. So I wonder if they're going to even press that more this game, because you saw they were definitely, taught that and told that before the game. I don't know if they're told that every game. I know that's a normal thing that should be done.
Yeah, they did. He's tall, but his releases are
shorter,
not over the top. So being that tall, that ends up being like right there. So he actually shortens himself with with the releases. So I'm pretty sure that was a conscious game plan.
Yeah.
Well,
they more of that.
They do that. They've been working on that since fall camp. I was watching follow them during fall camp. They said they work on stripping the ball every practice and matching the quarterback's hand when they're throwing. And Jim Knowles said that at one of his pressers over the summer.
Yeah, that's standard.
Yeah. I'm waiting on one of these defensive ends to snag one of them things. One of these D linemen to
JT almost had, Jack almost had one.
Jack Simmons had a couple this year already. Madamus Prime Entertainment, thanks for the another gifted membership. Appreciate it.
Shout out to Matt.
Chat's on fire. Chat's on fire.
He was gifted one and then gifted somebody. That's awesome.
That's that pay it forward, man.
Everyone should do that.
That's the way the world should operate. Final thing here, man, to wrap it up, and then we'll do some final words. But I want to speak about momentum, and I want to talk about how the Buckeyes were down, completely down, right in the dirt with the loss they had. Then they come out, they build this momentum. Talk about it. How easy is it to carry in? If we carry this momentum in, can we be stopped? Is this that time? Is that how football works? You got one game like this, that momentum can easily carry into a game. What are we expecting here, fellas? What are we expecting?
Well, it does, carry into the game, right? And so we're going into we have it. Went into practice, and now we're falling into another game. They have to start. They have to create momentum. They have no momentum. They've been off, right? So, that leaks in, and, I got to get myself going. I got to, get up for this game, and, it's a bigger game in the playoffs. You haven't played a playoff game yet, and we played one, dominated one, and we're coming into it with that. They have to, they start their, they got that cold winter start, you know what I mean? And and warm up. So absolutely.
Yeah. Mello?
I think yes, we have the momentum, but I think it's more so the coaching staff has figured it out. This is why I told you. Remember when we were talking, we all said this. They had the Oregon game, the defense didn't play up to standard. After that, the defense became number one in the country. They started shutting everything down. They changed a little bit, tweaked a little bit of how they were going to game plan and call the games. And then we said the same thing was going to happen on offense, and we saw what happened with Tennessee. I think it's going to be a continuation. They're going to play more open, more free, and I think we're going to see that for the duration of the season, and hopefully for the duration of Ryan Day and Jim Knowles' career at The Ohio State University.
Amen. Donald and Karen, thanks for the $10, man. He said Kirk Kirby is a traitor, and his Buckeye card has been revoked by Buckeye fans. OH.
Yo.
Yeah, Herbie, your card is revoked. I'm not going to really get into that right now, but it's revoked, my dude. I don't know what you're doing. You're getting too emotional. Calm down, my dude. Breathe before you talk. Anyway, I was about to say, golly, dude. Donald and Karen, thank you so much. Gifted, dude. We're gonna have so many members now, bro.
Appreciate you, Donald and Karen.
Can't wait to pay it forward.
Gifted. Yeah, heck yeah. We appreciate you. So, yeah, I think we're carrying that momentum in. I did have one more question. I lied about it. Ohio Pod brought this up, and I want your guys' opinion. They keep bringing up the NFL experience that is on this coaching staff and
Mhm.
wondering if, because of the NFL experience on the coaching staff, if we have the upper hand on playing this team twice. Because in NFL, teams play teams twice all the time. Me personally,
Mhm.
um, I mean, I think Oregon has the same tools. You know what I mean? I think there's
Yeah.
enough people on their coaching staff that's played in the NFL to know. I'm just not so. I think there's other things that are going to outweigh that way more, like the revenge thing and the momentum we got and all that. I mean, I'm sure it could have some, but I just think that's kind of and I think that's kind of equal. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. Um, it's yeah, they have the experience, in that situation, the coaches. So, calling the game won't be, as high pressure as, a coordinator or a college coordinator who hasn't, like been in that situation. So it's more so, but their understanding of, all right, I'm not coaching grown men, so you have to kind of, make up for that. So in that respect, it's helpful for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Mello, what's your thoughts?
Um,
Mello, you zoned in on the chat right now. What you zoned in on, bro? You watching a movie, Mello? Are you watching a
man,
freaking movie
that
right
is
now?
hilarious.
What's he saying?
Someone gifted 3M Maze Madman membership. He's not even in the chat. I'm like, I didn't know you could give somebody a membership that's not in the chat presently.
Wait, it gifted it to him?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. When you gift a membership,
Oh wow!
it gifts it to
So
whoever is on.
whoever's on the thing,
No, who's ever on you. If you got a YouTube
whoever's on
profile,
YouTube.
if you got a YouTube profile, you could randomly wake up with a Buckeye Boys membership one day. I'm telling you,
That's funny.
I gifted like 20 on the Ohio Pod one night, and it gifted it to people that I've never heard of. I'm on
Why did they
YouTube
do
a
that?
lot, bro.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's so weird. You should be able to pick, or it should be for people that are in the chat. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do I think it's advantage? I do somewhat. Actually, I do a lot, and that's what I thought from the beginning of the season as one of the positives for why we were going to win Natty, because they're going to approach. Basically, it's like college is now basically an NFL season with the amount of games you have to play to win, 16, right? So I feel like they were going to navigate it the best out of all the coaching staffs, and then the headset communication is something that's not new to them. So, yeah, I thought it was a plus. I mean, Oregon has a few people that were in the NFL at points in time. So it is what it is. I just think we're the better team, period, to be honest with you.
I do as well. Well, Ryan Day's Beard became a member. Appreciate you.
Shout out Ryan Day. Coach Dave, what's up?
The BBC. Yeah, Coach Day's a member now. Yes, sir. I got his number. I'll text him afterwards and tell him thanks. I don't. But anyway. All right, fellas. Me and Mello going to the game. Duke's going to the game, dude. We're freaking pumped about it.
Game.
We're stoked, man. I will be at the Cotton Bowl as well. Then I'll also be in Atlanta as well. I'm going to all of them, man. I'm going to all of them. I'm not paying the truck payment. The insurance can wait. I'm going to the games, man. I'm going
Oh yeah, we make it to the combo right down the street, boy. We'll be there for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, now y'all trying to make me go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My daughter got ECNL Florida that weekend, but it's Friday. So what would have happened was if I go, I have to go there, and as soon as the game is over, I have to fly to Tampa, straight to Tampa because she got game on Saturday, Sunday.
Well, dude.
Actually, she got game Friday. I can't go.
It's not happening.
Nah, but I live in Atlanta, so when they come to Atlanta, I'll be there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, give us your closing thoughts. Mello, hit us up with some closing thoughts. What you thinking?
I think we're gonna have a great 5 days. It's gonna be an excellent Rose Bowl. We're gonna have fun out there. We'll do some lives out there. We're about to get this dub and go head on and move on down to Dallas.
Man, Duke.
Yeah, ditto. I feel like we got great momentum. Confidence, I think, is like super high. Not too high, but back to where we're gonna play like we are those dudes, and coach like we're those dudes. And I think I anticipated a surprise, not surprising to me. It's gonna surprise people how dominant we'll look.
Yeah.
Amen. I agree. I think that it's a beautiful time for Ryan Day's Beard gifted 5 Buckeye Boys memberships.
Coach Day, salute to Coach Day.
Okay.
Thank you, Coach Day, man. That $10 million is going somewhere. Thank you, man. Anyway, it's a great time for Chip Kelly to fully understand the strengths of all his offensive weapons. He utilized that to the fullest against Tennessee. It was the first time this year I can say that Tennessee game to me looked like a 100% the Buckeye team. The last time we played Oregon, I said we played at about 70% capacity. Tennessee looked like 100% with the talent on this team, both offensively and defensively. If we play like that, I just don't think we can be stopped, man. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to bring up $20 million in nil and all that stuff. I don't care what you bring up. We're still the most talented team in the nation. And the coaches are seeing that. Not only that, the changes in the offensive line, they've now been solidified. The guys have had time to get used to one another now. We saw that happen in the Tennessee game. They gelled well together. The coaches utilized the strength of each individual lineman and player on offense and defense. Jim Knowles at a press conference today. Donald, thanks for gifting another Buckeye Boys membership to somebody, man. I appreciate you.
Shout out Donald.
Yeah, so defensively, Jim Knowles and his adjustments, he's the best in the business, bro. So
Yeah.
he's got something ready for him, man. As far as these trick plays go, that's football, dude. This team's going to be ready. This team is full of veterans, man. They've been around the block. They've played in some big-time games. They're ready. They've rebounded. They got the momentum. They got the coaches. They got the fan base. We good, man. We're good. So I'm stoked, man. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Go to our website. Look at some of these new shirt ideas Tony's coming up with. I do guys want to show you a couple more art things that Tony has designed. Of course, everybody saw this one. That's pretty cool. Peace was never an option. That's one of our shirt options. This is that's how you've already seen. This is a new one, right? That's Cujo in his Ohio State uniform with the duck head there. He's taking care. So we understand this is a little bit violent. So,
Hey, you need to get one. Have them eating fagua.
That's what I told Sean today. I told Sean that exact thing.
We got this one here, dude. We got this one, and here is, I believe, a Buckeye Boys member holding up their new shirt that they got the other day. So yeah, this is what it looks like. This what this one looks like on a shirt, dude. Pretty fire, bro. I'm trying to get one and actually wear it to the game. But appreciate everybody in the chat. Duke, appreciate you coming on, man. Chat, look forward to Duke and Daniel's show, man. It's gonna be awesome.
Fire.
Yeah. So we'll get that thing popping off. Probably after these playoffs are done and finished, we got time to sit down and figure it out. That'll be a good time to get it started because recruiting's going to pick back up. Everybody's going to have that's the only thing going on. So that's what people are going to know about. Beautiful time to start the show. So become a member if you would like. Don't forget we accept super chats now. So we appreciate you, Buckeye Nation. If you're going to the Rose Bowl, hit me and Mello up. We'll meet up with you if you can. On that note, appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Go Buckeyes. OH.
Ayo.